Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It is Tuesday night, Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. I was going to say 2027 for some unknown reason. Thank God it's not 2027. That would have been crazy. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you've had a good day. We've been busy here today. Of course, we've had a couple different meetings, and we've been going back and forth on some email with some folks. And I, once again, have been in the process of going through all of my email. So I want to let you guys know, if you have emailed me, and if email is a way that any of you that watch communicate with me, and you've messaged me in probably the last, I'm normally really pretty good at getting back at my email, getting back with it, especially if it's something that's important. I might not respond to all of my email every day, but I look through it every day. And if it's something that is important, I do my best to at least get it within about a 12-hour period. So if you've sent me an email, I generally respond to email within a 12-hour period. However, in the last about 2 or 3 weeks, I have not been as good as I generally am. And so I did not I have not been as good in the last couple of weeks. We've just had a lot going on. So if you've reached out to me, this is just a little housekeeping message. If you have reached out to me via email in the last couple of weeks and I have not got back to you, if it's something that is of major importance, maybe drop me another email and just say, hey, check your email out. I will have to take this because apparently my grandparents have not been able to connect with the show. Stand by. Hello, you're live. Yeah, so are you on YouTube? Okay, and what do you see? Okay, that was earlier today, so it's not that one. So you're going to want to look for 167. Oh, you're not using the TV? Everyone's saying hello to you live. It's what? Now go over like you would go to search, on the side, and like you're going to go look for the political spotlight.
I put up a special banner so they'll know they're on the right show.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, so you're on YouTube, right? Now hold that button down and say the political spotlight. What? 167.
Now, they may have to go to the live tab.
Okay. And it says non-public public meeting. Yep. That's Kate just talking to you. Does it say, do you get a, yeah, you see that thing that says, hello, Grandma and Grandpa, welcome to the show? Say, hey, I found you. Tell me that you found me.
I found you, Kate.
All right.
I like seeing you on there. Thank you, 01 studying brain.
All right.
Found you, Chris.
All right. Well, I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
Or you'll see me now. Bye.
See you now. Bye.
Ta-da! Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. So, boomers, shoot, no. Oh my, no. My parents are boomers. The grandparents are not boomers. They're older than that. So, all right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome Grandma and Grandpa. By the way, I'll be there after the show. We've got a doctor's appointment in the morning, so we'll be doing that. But I just want to let everybody know that if you've sent me something via email, make sure that you if it's important and I haven't responded back to you, drop me another email to say, hey, I did. If it's not important, I will get to you. I am in the process of going through and cleaning all that out now. So stand by and give me a little bit of time. I appreciate that, Jack. No, you're fine. They watch all the time. They know who you are. I think you might be one of my grandpa's favorite characters on here. So, okay. All right. Hello there, Crickets. Yeah. See, Crickets saying hello, grandparents. Everybody's talking to you guys. So, all right. Hey, while we're doing all of this extremely, very, meta, like, me talking to them through the show, you guys talking to me, talking to them through the show, me hearing myself, all of that, go ahead and yeah, there's Charlie says this is really cute, helping them live. Go ahead, everybody, and click the like button, do all the YouTube stuff. If you can do that. My grandparents would really like if you click the like button. It will make my grandmother feel better if you click the like button. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is officially time to get a haircut. I've got to tell you, I can't do it any longer. I mean, I can't do it any longer. Normally, how I do my hair when I take a shower, I get it wet and then I gel it back and do that. Generally what happens is, like, if I take a shower and wet my hair Monday morning, it stays that way. Ryan Webb. What I will do, Ryan, is
we need to send an invite.
Yeah, right. Hey, do you want to pop on? Are you still got time? You want to come on? If you're interested, we can still send you an invite. Or if you want to do it tomorrow, whichever way is better for you. Because I know I didn't get back with you, so it's up to you. I better click over here and see the comments. I wasn't even looking at the comments. You gotta go. Yeah, well, so yes, give me 10 minutes. Okay. Kate will send you the invite to Messenger. She's already done it. So just you jump on when it's good for you. No issue, no harm, no foul. Just jump on whenever you're ready. A matter of fact, 10 minutes will give me help. So generally what would happen is I'm able to wet my hair down and whatever, and it will do me like that, and it holds it all in until tomorrow, and it's no big deal. Well, this hair is now so crazy, it doesn't gel the way that I like it. So what I do is I will take a shower, I get out, I dry it, and then it's real nice and fluffy for a while. But then if I do anything, if I touch it at all, if I lay down on it, if I do anything, it just goes crazy. And so that's what this is. And so I am literally to the point now where earlier in the day, I was doing a couple different styles with the hair. And so before we get started, I just thought I would show you guys a few different styles that I was like, okay, I'm probably to the point where I need to cut my hair now. It would probably be a good time to get the haircut. I am now officially to the point where I agree with Jack and literally everybody else, and it's probably time to get the haircut. So I want to show you the first style. The first style is just absolutely beautiful here. And by beautiful, I mean it's just a complete shit show. Let me see here. Here we go. This is everything combed straight back look. Laid back. That's that. Okay. Next is basically the same. It's just showing you kind of what I've got going on there. Some pretty craziness. Okay. Now here we start getting into some amazing styles. The flock of seagulls. Right here we've got something kind of insane going on. Now look at this craziness. Ridiculous. Oh my God. This is when I realized, yeah, I'm to the point. I need it done. Here is what a general, like, right out of the barber haircut cut looks like. So this would be like what it generally is. Nice, tight, but not too tight on the sides, and a nice gel over. Yeah, Ejack. That's kind of like the Bieber. I'm a believer. I'm a believer here. It's not exactly, there was a time in my life where I really wanted like to do kind of like the Beatle haircut, and this is not exactly it. This is just wild flat over. My hair is so freaking thick. It is insane. And grandma hasn't cut your hair when you're saying, yeah, right. So, yeah, we've got a doctor's appointment first thing tomorrow morning. And I think, after some time at the grandparents', I'm going to go do the haircut. So hopefully tomorrow evening we should be somewhere back in here. So, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. I don't know. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. It sounds like Ryan Webb is coming on. Counselor Webb is going to come on and talk about some county council stuff. Before we get to that, I just want to say briefly, the Madison County meeting, and let me tell you, the Madison County meeting was insane. Delaware County Council meeting went, and it was ridiculous, and it went as expected. The Delaware County councilors did as they normally do, and it is what it is. Ryan was there. He voted no. There was some back and forth, and the council meeting went the way that it goes. The Madison County meeting was just completely ridiculous. So, what really is bothersome to me is, so the Delaware County meeting ran long, and I was unable to do what I needed to do to get to the Madison County meeting. However, the Madison County meeting was live streaming from their portal, and Rebecca Crooms was there. Now, I mostly went on Rebecca's feed because the feeds were having some technical difficulty, but Jack, I don't think she did. No, she hasn't yet. If she did, it would be buzzed off. Yeah, Cindy, I saw Cindy at the test. I need to send you my phone number, and you and I need to trade phone numbers, because Rebecca was videoing, and I was going to call you on the phone and tell you what to tell them, because I was so mad. I was so out of my mind, mad and pissed off, because what he was saying, what he was doing, and I mean, by he, I mean Russ, was, I was out of my mind. I was out of my mind, mad. Grandma and Grandpa, if you didn't see this, and maybe you didn't know, this is Priest and Steve, by the way. If you didn't know that, I don't know. I just want to put that up on the Steve there for you, because I didn't know if you saw that. Maybe sometimes they've got their glasses on and sometimes they don't. So and the name changes, so I wanted to make sure they knew what was up. Yes, Catherine. Will you be available tomorrow? Do you have anything going on tomorrow? If you don't have anything going on tomorrow, we can have you on tomorrow and talk about what's been going on the last couple weeks in Madison County and all of that. I just briefly, while we're waiting for Ryan to pop on, I want to tell you guys that this Madison County meeting was an absolute joke. Okay? So this meeting that they had in Madison County was the public test of election equipment. Now, there will be a public test of election equipment in Delaware County on Thursday, and I'm going to do my best to try to get there and show it to you and show you what the difference is for everybody that watched this. If you did not watch this, you should get on and watch it. But Rebecca is going to try to come over and see how different it is. It's wildly different. So for this Madison County test, basically what they did is they set up 3 machines up front. And the lady that works for the machines, she was there and she was explaining some stuff. And then they walked up and the election board, put all of the data points into the machines. It took them roughly, I don't know, 10 minutes to do it. Russ then turns around and he acts like he knows something, and he's looking at some things and he's doing what he does. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to go up here to this room and you are allowed to follow us, but you can't, when we go up to this room, you can stand outside, but you can't go in and see this. And Rebecca's like, what kind of public test is this? What kind of public test are we looking at? Now look, Rebecca
not
actually
to come across
goes,
this line. Is that what you're saying?
Rebecca actually goes into the room here, and they get huffy with her. And he gets his stupid fat ass head right in the way. So they go over here. Mind you, this is the public test. We're supposed to be seeing how everything's running. Look at what people can see.
What Chris talking about. It's not like how we do it at all. Chris, every time I come to one of these, it's done differently. So this is all new. This is the first time I've attended one that we went into one room. Oh, she's way over here.
So Rebecca's like,
in trouble. Do we get to view this part?
No one's answering her. She's like, do we get to see this part? So she just comes on in.
Please exit the room.
Please exit the room. Please exit the room.
Well, I thought
I
you
am
said
so
we were
pissed off.
supposed
I
to
wish
be-
I would have been there, because I would have probably went to jail today. I would have went to jail. It would be probably worth $250. That's all I'm going to say.
Do it. Okay. That's why I walked in.
I'm
there.
going to
I
tell
didn't
you
know.
these, and these are fools. These are fools running the show. They do not know. And I want to skip to the part that I about had a coronary over. All right. They get back from this room and they've got all of the documents laid out. And they're now, after they've done everything, now they're going to let the people there come and inspect the documents.
Chris,
and
I will call you.
People could go and inspect the documents if they wanted. Okay. And Catherine excuse me. Rebecca goes up to inspect the documents.
Difference to it make whether
And they put some of the documents on this podium. And so she goes over there to inspect these documents. And while she's doing
Chris,
that,
I will
she's
call you.
going through the documents with her phone. And they come up and say, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't look at any of these documents with your phone. You can't do that. And she's like, what? Why? What makes a difference? And they say, well, because that makes a document that you then take out of this room. Right. All right. Let me be very clear.
You could request copies of this, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So the public access law states you can request copies of this and they must provide it to you. You could get copies at 10 cents a page and they could provide it to you. You can also request to be able to examine the material and to make copies of it with your own equipment for free. So Rebecca could scan the documents with her phone, click, and make the documents no harm, no foul. These are public documents in a public building being held by public officials, and they were trying to bar her from what she has a right to do. But when they would tell her no, And she said, well, what is giving you the right to tell me no? Everybody, including the lawyer, said, well, I don't know. I don't know what the rule is. I don't know what the IC code is that tells me I can tell you you can't do this. If I would have known you were going to be here and want it, I would have had it for you. Hey, listen, Russ Willis, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's called
You are
Google.
in.
Duh.
Yeah, right. You're in your last days of your power mode here. So live it up. Do what you got to do, because your goose is cooked as far as all this goes. All right? Because we've got your number now. All right? And it's just a matter of time before your power is stripped away from you. I'm just letting you know, this is stupid what they did. She said, well, aren't these public documents? And they said, yes. Well, you would have to request them. You would have to request them from us. Well, this is a public test. She's the public. She's got her phone there, and she was permitted to do what she was doing. I called Linda today before she even got back up to the office. I left a message. She called me, and our phone was cutting out, and then we never got to talk back again to each other. I'm going to make a trip to go see her and let her know how just off the wall wrong they are. I hope the people of Madison County are watching this. Linda doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground, and I'm telling you, you guys are you're breaking the law is what you're doing. Just that's the bottom line. So this nonsense was stupid. This was a non-public public meeting, and it was bullshit. So I just wanted to bring that to your mind and let you see that. You can see that whole meeting on our wall. But the other meeting that occurred today, ladies and gentlemen, was the Delaware County Council meeting. And we just so happen to have with us a Delaware County councilor to talk about that. Whoa, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. No problem. So today, besides all that madness in Madison County, we had the council meeting. And of course, I went over the council meeting last night a little bit. We talked about the financial situation that was going on and what was going to be kind of expected in the meeting today. So just first and foremost, let me ask you, did the meeting go as you thought it would go today? That's the first question. And then the follow-up question to that is, are you disappointed with how the meeting went? Like, so coming out of today's meeting, did it go like you thought it would? And are you happy with the results of the meeting, or are you disappointed with the results of the meeting?
Well, first of all, I'll say I'm absolutely disappointed with the results of the outcome.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat, I would say, hopeful that I feel like we might have moved the needle a little as far as getting some of the other council members to, I don't know, maybe wake up, for lack of a better word, or not even really wake up, just actually vote the way that they know and feel in their heart and soul. Because there's plenty of times people vote when they don't even believe in the way they're voting. In fact, Councilmember Flanagan said it today. He on one particular vote, he said, Ryan's not wrong. Everything he said is right. And I agree with him, but I'm still going to vote the opposite way.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Everybody has to be accountable for their vote, but we did move the needle on a couple today. We got council members Keynes and White had to vote with me against one of the issues. And I think if they would have kind of understood it a little bit sooner, because it was a little tricky today with the way they were mingling the funds all around and moving them all around. With the inexperienced council members, it's pretty easy to let it get past them. So I think if they may have understood that a little bit sooner, they might have voted with me on those votes as well. But other than that, it went about the way I expected. I knew I was going to challenge a lot of things. I had a lot of questions on a lot of the stuff. And so there was a lot of discussion today.
Well, okay. So the big thing that I'm surprised that we're not seeing, I figured that after the meeting today, it would immediately be said how you hate children, you want children to be left at home alone, you don't like childcare and all that. So let's get that. Let's kind of go backwards real quick, because one of the last things you guys kind of dealt with was this tax abatement for this child care. And just real quick for the record, your issue with this tax abatement had nothing to do with what the business was, nothing to do with the woman. You know, I didn't know who she was from anybody. I want to give you a couple of insights here in just a moment that you may or may not have known. But, you know, just to set the record straight, you didn't have a problem with that business or anything. What was the deal with the tax abatement?
Oh, of course. I mean, it got framed that way, and you know, it come off just by her level of defense, like I was somehow objecting to child care facilities or child care for at risk children or anything. My objection was for once. First of all, we didn't vote on the abatement today. We voted on declaring the area an ERA, an economic revitalization area,
Which is the first step.
right? First step. In order to get an abatement, you have to have that. Well, I have a hard time declaring something ERA when there's a shiny $3.6 million building sitting on it, you know. And I feel like I get it, I understand it, but you're coming after the fact. My whole objection to this is a tax abatement is supposed to be an incentive to lure a company, to entice a company to say, hey, build in our community, open a building in our community. It's not meant to go back retroactively to someone who's already built a building and maybe their construction costs went up or they had these unforeseen circumstances and basically throw them a lifeline and bail them out. That is a for-profit company. That is not the role of government. Our role is not to be bailing people out. If that's the case, everybody with a business in town can start showing up to council meetings asking for a tax abatement. You know, hey, I built it 3 years ago, but I didn't know I was supposed to, you know, I could get an abatement.
Yeah.
And so that was my objection. It wasn't to the business itself. Second, she said 25% of those children get vouchers from the federal government for free childcare. So in my argument, and I got some pushback on some of the council members, and I think they were incorrect on this. I believe there's already a version of taxpayer input into her business, right? The taxpayers are already subsidizing part of her business because 25% of her children get money from the state, right? Now, the state gives those child care vouchers. Those vouchers are paid for by your and my tax dollars. Those families then take those vouchers to that business, and she then later cashes those vouchers into the government for real money. So,
Right.
to me, that is a version of already being taxpayer subsidized business. Her argument in response to that was, it's only 25%, and it's about the kids, and what's it really matter? And I get it. We can get caught up in the warm and fuzzies, but my job is to look at numbers and to protect the tax dollars. I can't get caught up in the warm and fuzzies about disadvantaged kids having a daycare. I think it's a great facility. I think it's great that they have that, but that cannot impact my judgment on the decision.
Well, you know, someone who is quite a bit different. I won't say that. I mean, I would say as far as just doing the down to day-to-day, down to earth government work, you guys were a lot alike in some aspects, but then in a lot of other ways completely different. Was former city councilman Jeff Robinson. And Jeff Robinson always said, when it came down to very controversial votes or, you know, giving someone this, you know, a raise or this, you know, adding a new something here or there, that it had nothing to do with people. It had nothing to do with what was good or bad or right. At the end of the day, it was a situation that they as the council, he as a councilman, you as a councilman have to look at the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Yes or no? Does the situation which the numbers are being used at, does it make sense? Yes or no? And then your vote needs to be based off of that. And so yeah, this has nothing to do with childcare. This has nothing to do with her as a person, her as a business owner, her as a childcare provider. And like you said, from everything I've heard, she's a fantastic person. She's a fantastic is fantastic at her job. And hopefully, and I heard you say several times, you wish her success and you hope everything's great, yada, yada, yada. This just came down for you to does this make sense? And the biggest problem is Delaware County does not have hard and fast kind of rules in which people can go to. If I want to start a business and I want to look for tax abatement information, I can't say, hey, what's the process? You guys don't have those rules. And that is something that came from this. You guys are now going to look at putting these rules in place. And what's funny is it seems like Councilman Hughes and a couple other councilmen were saying, well, maybe we need to look at putting in there that you have to come to us before you start the construction. And
Well,
so
he said that in reference to that's the way the state is outlined.
Yeah.
Right. We don't necessarily have anything outlined for Delaware County. However, the state has guidelines, and those guidelines say before you break ground. So when you have an absence of a county ordinance, you have to refer to the state ordinance. So there is some protocol already aside. I mean, but by her own acknowledgement, she got up there and said, look, I just didn't know. I built this building.
Yeah.
I had all these other expenses, and I just needed some help. And I can relate to that, and I have empathy for that, but that's not what an abatement is for. We're not supposed to do it as let me help pad your for-profit business and help your bottom line get better. That's not what it's meant to do. You know, it's meant to entice people. So it was really almost every objection I had today was about procedure.
Yeah, yes.
Every single objection I had today, and I had many, was about procedure. We have to follow some standards. And you're right. There wasn't nothing in writing for the county. But Mr. Hughes had also he had said something. Oh shoot, I lost track of what I was going to say. He had said something that was interesting that I thought was what I wasn't sure. Oh, he made a comment that if we could give it to her anyway, it wasn't going to cost us nothing because we're already at our max levy. And you're right, we're not going to get any more money from the county because we're for as far as the tax base. However, that alleviates some of the tax burden on the taxpayers, right? So it's not a lot. It may only be a nickel per person, but it still lowers your taxes when we add when we expand the tax base. And that takes that max levy and it spreads it out across the citizens of this county, and each person ends up paying less. So yeah, we may not get another dollar as a county, but you, the citizen, will save a little bit of money on your taxes.
Yeah. So, and again, you know, procedure is important. It has to be important. That's, you know, if you don't have that and you just, everything is done, you know, like willy nilly, however the mood strikes us today, it's just kind of, that's a really weird way to do business as a government. And that's kind of how you get into the situation where, you know, maybe I come and I get a favorable situation because I'm friends with some people, or maybe they shit on me because I'm not liked. But you know, someone else comes in and does this and everything goes well. And it's like, wait a minute, that's, you know, you really should have it set in stone. So it's pretty well decided. Okay, this is how things are going to go. This is what's going to happen. And, you know, so hopefully that's the way it sounds. That's hopefully the way that you guys are going. It sounds like you're going to like develop something out of this, I hope. But, you know, that's definitely interesting. And about the economic development revitalization area, you know, if people are used to that or familiar with that term, this is a big issue that came up with the solar ordeal. And, you know, this is something that people need to know. Again, you know, if you're talking about for people who know Muncie and know Delaware County, the viewers that know the area, you know, think about the lot that the old Chevy plant was on, or think about Borg Warner. Those are areas which would be, you know, a great area to be determined to be an ERA and something happen and develop something there. That would be a great place. You wouldn't necessarily go like in a year from now, you wouldn't go and call the area between Muncie Central and the Field House an ERA when it has this great multi-million-dollar YMCA built there. That's
Well, in
not,
theory, you
know,
wouldn't, but
yeah,
that's what it's turned into.
yeah.
I was
That's
told
what you
by
did say.
our own legal that we have broad authority, and basically we can declare anything we want as an ERA. I could declare your front yard as an ERA if the council designates it as that. But when you look at what's written in the statute, that's not the way it was intended. They've taken something and completely hijacked it and basically said, do whatever you want. It's a tool to just necessary for tax abatements. But really, the definition that describes it is completely irrelevant. If that's the case, I wish they would go do away with the actual definition of saying it has to be a defunct ground that needs a boost to develop, right? If it's just hey, a council can decide an area and then you can at your whim give a business a tax abatement, I can live with that, but change the wording and make it say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that it has to be a shit show to and it needs a nudge to get to shine it up. And when that's not the case, that's hardly ever what it is. Think of all the buildings that are getting tax abatements. Every one of them has to have an economic or an ERA declared.
Right. Yeah, it's very, very interesting how this has been turned out. And let me see here. I want to show I'm trying to go through here real quick because I know that, let's see, April. Let's see here. Where was this at? Wheeling and Moore Road. Delaware County officials have agreed to help with funding infrastructure for much-needed daycare center in the county. Kaleidoscope Kids Daycare, owned by longtime daycare provider Janelle Kramer, will serve up to 180 children when finished. And this is, I'm going to pull this up on the screen so we can see it here. This is April 26, 2023. This is a document from the Muncie Journal.
Well, we've never said we were going to help them with anything, so that's what surprises me that that's written in that article.
Well, what's interesting about this is like to me, Muncie Journal is like state-ran media. It's or county-ran media, if you wanna say that. It's this is like, it's written by Keith Roysden, who is retired from the newspaper, and he now writes basically for the county. They pay him he's kind of in with the people at the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission and all of that thing. So it says here, Delaware County officials have agreed to help with funding infrastructure for much-needed daycare center in Delaware County. Kaleidoscope Kids Daycare, owned by longtime local daycare provider Janelle Kramer, will serve up to 180 children when finished. The project, consisting of a new state-of-the-art building of 13,850 square feet in size, will be located at the southwest corner of Wheeling and Moore Road in Muncie. The Delaware County Redevelopment Commission will provide up to $250,000 in funding. Like, I want to know, did they do that? Did she get that?
Well, that's a good question, because that's what I was thinking when we were talking. I even suggested that. It sounds more like something you need from the commissioners than from the council from an abatement perspective.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go to them and ask them. But the problem with that is she's not a nonprofit. She's a for-profit business.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be in the business of propping up companies. Simple as that. No matter how good and nurturing they are. That's not the role
Yeah.
of government.
Yeah, right. Well, and I am real familiar with this area. I've not been by there. Does that building look like this?
Yeah, it's a beautiful building. I mean, it's got like marble counters and stuff in there. When I drove by the other day, there was 50, 60 cars in the parking lot. Packed. So, again, it's hard to declare an economic development area.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's a good facility, and they're supposed to bring 40 jobs. Up from, I think they have 8 jobs now. So it's if all goes to plan, it's a big boost. I really wish the proper protocols would have been followed, and I would have loved to have got behind it. It's just hard for me to get. I'm torn on it because we're just not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're going back in retrospect and saying, "Oh shoot, I wish I would have done that," and then still trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And again, I want to say, for the record, I do not know this woman. From what I've heard from a couple different people, she's very well known, very good person, decent person. No problems with this person, no questions. I think she's doing a great thing. She's doing a good job. Seems like she's going to bring some jobs. So this is like a good thing for Delaware County. Everything is wonderful. What?
She seems very passionate and driven.
Yeah.
Everything. I would give her that. She's going to be successful. She's going to land on her. That's all the more reason why I don't think she needs the abatement. They're going to be successful without us.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're gonna be okay.
Yeah. That's the thing is it seems like this is a person who's gonna, because she even said that. She was like, with or without this, I'm going to be okay. She was gonna, this wasn't gonna stop her in any way.
Yeah, so think about that for a second. Think about that. She says, I really basically just had some increased costs. I didn't realize I couldn't do it before. Now I'm coming late. And oh, by the way, even if you don't give me this, I'm still going to go forward with my business. It'd be great. You couldn't ask for an easier no from the council. I mean, if you were ever looking for someone to say, well, okay then. But everyone gets caught up in their emotions and says, oh, man, this is a great feel-good story. The kids and everybody and I get all that, man. I get all that, but you can't say yes to everything.
Well, that's the thing is, if you, again, listen, if you take away, because right now people's like, wait a minute, that's the dynamic duo, the outlaw Republicans, knocking women down and punching little kids and stuff. We're not saying anything about that, man. Like, relax, be cool. All's well. But the only point is, imagine if they didn't help this person who look, everybody could use a helping hand. Everybody could, be a little bit better than where they are. I'd say nobody's out there is like saying, well, screw it. I don't need any help. I'm good. Everyone's going to take that. But imagine for a second, if you didn't provide this, who could you provide it to that could really benefit from it? Who's not going to get something or whatever because, well, we've done this. That's the only drawback here. And I just want to point out a couple of interesting factors. And those factors are, and again, and I know I'm going to get hate for this, but just as I want to just be very transparent because transparency matters. This woman is very connected to Judd Construction. Okay. Which means nothing. Judd Construction's a great business in Muncie and Delaware County, does great work. I just want to point out that one of the fine employees of Judd Construction happens to be Nate Carroll. Okay. And so this person seems to be kind of connected into those people. And so it just seems like this is something that this person should have known, like, hey, this is something I could have done. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm not saying there's anything nefarious here. I just, for all transparency, this isn't just somebody that's just floating out here with no access to any of these people. This is someone that does run in those circles where she's connected to people in the government. And for people to know, Nate Carroll is the son of Ed Carroll, who is the auditor and the Republican Party chairman. He's set in the meeting today, and Nate is involved in government, yada, yada, yada. So, it's not like this is someone just like who all of a sudden like, oh, there's government out here. She's aware, there's parts of this that she's connected to. So, that doesn't mean anything. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was brought to my attention last night and then into today. So, that's kind of interesting.
I can tell you this particular vote, and really every vote that I voted today, every single vote that I voted no on today, I was extremely torn because I wanted to support every one of them. I wanted to support the child care facility. I wanted to support the pay raises for the county employees. I think all the county employees are underpaid, and my goal is to get them all $5,000 or $10,000 more. However, there's a process to it, right? I had to stand on consistency and really hold the line on sticking with what I had done and not deviating from what I'd done in the past. And that is, we have a process, and this is the way it's supposed to go. As much as I would love to give everyone raises right now, this is going to open the gates of hell, and everyone's going to come running for it. And same thing with this abatement. People are going to get wind.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you mean I can go do this retroactively? You know what I mean? It's going to have a domino effect. And sometimes with a new council, I put it this way. I think if Ron Quakenbush was up there, none of this stuff that went through today would have happened. Shout out to Ron.
Would have never thought I would have been like, hey, too bad Ron's not around. Who would have thought it? Well, that brings us to another question, because there was so that's an interesting thought or insight that you have there, that this might, open the floodgates and create a situation that might be, crazy in the future. You also made a comment about that back a couple months ago, several months ago now. I guess not too long ago, when good friend Eric Hoffman, Delaware County prosecutor, came to the council very shortly after the budget process, wanting increase in pay for deputy prosecutors. And you're like, wait a minute, didn't you know about this just a couple weeks ago? Why are we doing this already? And one of the things that you said was, and I remember this quite well, that you were afraid that this was going to create a situation where other county employees were like, well, wait a minute, even though the budget process is over, we ought to be able to go back and ask for more money. And it seemed like it took a little bit, but it seems like we are now there where that's happening. So kind of explain a little bit about what happened today with the money.
Well, first of all, what's interesting is almost every raise that happened today, that money came out of funds other than the general fund, right? So they had their money in there to do it. Jessica argued multiple times with me today, Ryan, they have the money to do it. This isn't out of the general fund. Let's give them the raise. What I didn't bring up today, but I'll say now, is fast or go back in time to the budget meetings. I wanted to give every employee a raise that we could. At the time, it was clear we couldn't give the county employees raises. I suggested then every employee who is paid out of a fund that's not from the general fund, let's give them the raises, because there's we need to keep this thing steadily moving so we don't fall behind, right? We shouldn't slow down the train, in essence, because not everybody can get off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I made that suggestion at budget time to all of these funds that all of these employees who get paid out of funds outside the general fund, to give them the raises. I was shot down and said, no, it's not fair, because we can't give them raises because we can't give everyone else a raise. I disagree with it then. Fast forward till today, they're all getting the raises. And when I said this isn't the process, Jessica repeatedly says, yeah, but this is outside of that fund. This is outside of county general, right? They got the money in their fund. Well, then what the hell was we doing in September? Why did I sit there for 14 hours a day, take the whole week off of work, if we're not, and for us to not give them the raise then, and to put this in perspective, this is the third month
Yeah.
into the year. Okay.
Yeah.
So even though we did the budget meeting in September, it doesn't start until January 1. Okay.
Right.
We're only the third meeting in from when it started. We're already changing everything. So my argument was, well, why didn't we just do it then when I said so? So now here I am arguing against myself because I fought for these people for raises back then. Right? And now I'm the guy saying, no, you can't get them now because it's not budget time, even though I wanted to give it to them back then. So to ask what you said, there were a couple different incidents today where employees, one of them was Jane Miranda coming from the adult probation department. They had basically two supervisors. And one supervisor left. And instead of hiring another supervisor, they hired a different employee, a little bit lower level, right?
Yeah.
And then they took that excess $5,000 that was left over and they want to pay it on the supervisor that's remaining because they say that guy's going to have an increased responsibility and we want to give him the money. And in a budget season, I would say, okay. But today I said, well, that's a pay raise in the middle of the season. I call it the season. It's the fiscal year. In addition to that, there are companies all over the world and all over Muncie in Delaware County where employees, including Delaware County, where employees are asked to get extra responsibilities at work. When I was working at Progress Rail as a quality inspector, I hired in, there were 4 other inspectors. There were 4 of us total. When I left, I was the last guy left. I was doing the work that 4 of us used to do. You think they went to someone and said, we need to give Ryan extra money because he's got increased responsibilities? No, they told me, Ryan, get the work done. And guess what? I drowned for a couple of weeks, but I eventually figured it out and I got the work done. And I didn't make a penny more. Now, when the time period came around that they do raises the one time a year, I was then given a pay increase at that point. Same way we do it with the budget time. So that was my argument. Let's do this the proper time. That was the one incident. That's a pretty standard incident. The other incident was much trickier. And what people don't realize is sometimes people are paid from multiple funds. So let's say you make $50,000 for easy math. You might get 45,000 of it out of the general fund, right? And it'll say salary, right? It's very easy for anyone to pick up the budget book, look at it, and go, "Oh, that's salary." But then there's that other 5,000 is paid out of some other fund buried in the back of the book. It doesn't say anything about salary. It says like ineligible standard deduction, right? You're like, 5,000. What the hell is that? Well, that's that person's salary too. That's that 5,000 paid out of a different fund. Well, if you work for Delaware County, Chris, and you leave and I take your place, the council has to then transfer the money that was set aside for you and transfer it for me, right? It's a really ridiculous system. It's completely government bureaucracy. The money should just stay with the position, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, with that being said, what never, ever, ever happens is you leave, you go to a different position, you get promoted. And then you want to take that extra $5,000, that little piece of that salary that was with your old position, and you want to take it with you to your new position. That's a no-no. That doesn't happen. Number one, the person who's replacing you in your current position, now they just lost 5,000, right? And that's what happened today. Tanya is getting promoted to chief deputy, and they wanted to take that. It wasn't 5,000. It was like $2,600, and they wanted to take it with her to her chief deputy spot. Now, what I was told is Ed in the finance meeting, according to Matt's notes, I'm going off of Matt Kantz's notes from the finance meeting, was that this would get the chief deputy in line with the other chief deputies in the county. Well, I was going through the budget book for 2 hours last night, getting all my ducks in a row for this meeting. And I looked at every single chief deputy in every single department either already makes 40,000 or 38,000. In fact, 2 years ago, Jane Lassiter made it her mission during the budget meetings during the budget week that her only goal was to get all the chief deputies' pay increased. She wanted elected officials and chief deputies' pay increased. So just 2 years ago, they were only making like 34, 35,000. We got them up to like 40 and 38, right? So what apparently, if Matt's notes are correct, Ed misspoke the truth, right? He because it wasn't bringing her in line with the other chief deputies. In fact, it would make her the highest paid chief deputy, because that would have, if she took that 2,600, her pay would have now been 42,600. All the other chief deputies would have been 40,000 and 38,000. So what do you think is going to happen come budget season? Those chief deputies, the department heads, is going to come to us and say, hey, our chief deputy's not making the same amount as this chief deputy.
Yeah.
And around and round and round we go. And that's the way it works. And then what I said is life's not fair. It's not everybody makes the same amounts. The whole reason that second line item was there, that extra couple thousand, was because when Donna Patterson was the chief deputy, she wore a lot of hats. She did a lot of work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the old council gave her a couple thousand on that line almost as an incentive, because they couldn't increase her salary out of the general fund. When she left, that somehow got carried over to this new person, which is the way it always works, right? And so now Tanya was wanting to take it with her. And I was speaking up saying, this is a pay raise. This is not the way we do things. We don't never take money from one position and transfer it to another position. That's not the way it goes. And, Ed got a little upset about it, and he tried to trip me up on it. Now, here's the kicker. Currently, in Tanya's role right now, she makes $42,000.
Yeah.
So it really isn't that much more money, maybe $100 that she would make by transferring that money. If she transfers to the chief deputy without that money, she actually takes a pay cut, $2,000. So I said, how about this? Because their whole thing is she has to train these new people. How about you continue earning what you're earning now, the $42,000?
Yeah.
You do the role of chief deputy.
Yeah.
Training those new girls, and have Ed put it in the budget for this pay increase in September. And then come January 1, you move over officially on paper to chief deputy at the pay that comes with it.
Yeah.
Well, how hard would that have been to do? There was no reason to do this big circle that we did today. And all they had to do was do it the right way, submit the pay request at the budget time like normal, and just have her write out her current salary, which is the same amount. Until then, it was nonsense. It was nonsense. But let me real quick. Let me go one more thing here.
Sure.
I think it's intentional nonsense, because everyone knows the auditor's office is an absolute shit show, right?
Yes.
But anytime you point out the shit show, all I'm hearing from everybody, smart people, council members, commissioners, is, yeah, they're doing a reorganization there. They're trying to get that office reorganized. It's really a genius move on Ed's part, because he's bought himself at least 6 months worth of excuses, because he can blame everything on the reorganization and say, yeah, we didn't pay the credit cards or we didn't pay the bills, but it's that damn reorganization. Everybody's still trying to get their legs underneath them and find their footing. I mean, none of that's even necessary. So there's really no accountability to incompetence, poor leadership, poor communication, because it all gets swept under the rug of, well, it's a reorganization, and there's growing pains with the reorganization. And so I'll give him credit for that. But I'm not falling for it. I'm still going to hold them to the same standard that I would for anyone else. And the other thing with that fund, that tricky little fund that's not salary, those new council members have only sit through one budget session. The majority of them don't know that. They didn't know that was salary. They didn't have a clue. You could see by watching the meeting how confused they were, even after I had explained it. They still wasn't sure what it was. They're like, what is this? You know?
So, I mean, that's what's so frustrating. And, the thing is, you see this stuff happen, and you guys go in and spend all this time arguing over things. And I'm really glad at the end, during the counselor comments that you brought up the deal, the argument over a salary increase that you guys had back in February, where you guys went back and forth on increasing a person's salary to, well, they wanted it to go to $25. You all didn't want to do that. You ended up settling on 20, and you guys did that. Everybody thought that was okay, like good. And then just 2 weeks later, they come in and say, no, that wasn't good enough. We're going to do something different, where now not only is he not going to work here for $20 an hour, he's going to quit working here. He's going to move back to Texas, and we want him to be a contract employee getting $35 an hour. And the commissioners were like, yep, okay, that sounds good for us. No discussion, no talk, no understanding, nothing about why, it's just done. And they voted on it, and it was over in a matter of like 3 minutes. And I was so happy that you brought that up, because I was wanting to hear that. I was hoping that Jessica would have said that. I knew she wouldn't, but I was glad that at least somebody brought that up, because I thought that was a major slap in the face by the commissioners. And it's ridiculous to see how all of this stuff goes. And like you said, it's like purposefully messed up and screwed up and made harder. Yes.
Intentional chaos. And I brought that up because I was pissed. I tempered what I wanted to say. I planned on it being a lot more fiery. But I was looking dead at Sherry Riggin when I said that. And she wouldn't even look up and make eye contact with me. And I was pissed because right next to Sherry Riggin was sitting Donna Patterson. And I meant to mention it, and I lost track of it myself, and I didn't say it. But I intended to remind the council that Donna Patterson, sitting in the back of the room, who lives right down the street, not 5 states away, 1,500 miles in Texas, has 40 years of experience in that office. And when she retired the year before last, we made her a contract employee at a rate of $25 an hour, because we figured that there would be some growing pains and we would have her right here to guide us through it. Well, I spoke with Donna before the meeting. She came up to me, and I clarified some things with her. And would you know that they have never once, not one time, called Donna to utilize her services for $25 an hour.
Really?
Right down the street. And not only that, her contract expired because they never used her. And, they think they got it all figured out. Their pride is getting in the way of them asking Donna. They don't want to say, okay, Donna, there may be some things that we don't know how to do. So rather than go to Donna, who's right down the road, who could be here in 15 minutes and pay her $25 an hour, Ed's stubborn ass is going to go to Charlie in Texas and pay him $35 an hour. Now, someone make that make sense for me. Charlie don't have 40 years of experience. I get it. He was a chief deputy, but Donna's worked for like 9 different auditors. She's been, she knows every square inch of that office. And I think getting the vibe I got from her, she's just as disgusted with what they're doing as what everyone else is. She would never say that because she's too professional for that. But I honestly don't think she'd go back if they did ask her. The vibe I got from her, I think there was some tension there. I'm not sure with who, but I think there was some tension there, which is not surprising. We've heard employee after employee who's left there talk about how much tension there is in that office. And, I don't have anything against Tanya, but Ed clearly has a favoritism thing for Tanya, or affinity for Tanya, and he gives her a lot of wiggle room. And I don't know if Tanya didn't want to work with Donna. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. But common sense tells me, why wouldn't you use her versus some guy in Texas?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Like, she's retired. She's sitting at home doing nothing, chilling.
Yeah, right. And that, it makes you wonder what's going on, why would that be happening? And, I could go into a lot of crazy conspiracy theories, but it's very,
Well,
very crazy.
I know there was a
do
council
that.
member who was kind of having a little bit of a direct conversation with Ed. I'm not going to name who the council member was, but this council member was pretty blunt. It was like, look, your office is on fire right now. You need to do whatever you need to do. Why are you not open to this? And Ed's response was basically, look, this is what I'm doing, and it is what it is. And, don't ask me about it again kind of thing. He's got this attitude of, who the hell are you to, you see it in today's meeting, who the hell are you to ask me the questions? His responses and answers is what I get from my kids when I ask my question. They give me 3-word text answers, like 3 and 4 words, right? And I'm like, I need some details here. Tell me more about it, right? You can't tell me enough information. And that's the same thing we get from Ed today when we're all asking him these questions. He talks these real weird low volume where no one can understand what he's saying, and just very brief statements. And everyone's got these befuddled looks on their face, like, that didn't help me at all. Like, I still have the same question. And to Matt and Eugene's credit, they kept pushing. And Ed was kind of melting a little bit. He was having a little bit of he was having a little bit of frustration with it. I know he's frustrated with me. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, no way.
But I'm there for the people. I don't give a damn if it's frustrating me or not. Well, if you don't want me putting you on the spot in front of everyone, then make it clear from the beginning.
Sure, man. It's not that hard to be transparent and open and just say, hey, here's what's going on. Another another weird thing that I noticed today was that I can't say never, but a lot of times when you guys have commissioners come in and they're on the agenda for one reason or another, and over the years, it's been King on a couple of occasions and it's been Shannon on a couple of occasions. I would say at least 85 or 90% of the time that they come in, they're by themselves when they come in and they're addressing you guys by themselves. Maybe every once in a while, if it's something real crazy legalese that they need, John Brooke will come in with them. But normally, when one of the 2 Cowboy Kid commissioners, Shannon or James, come in, they're in, doing the show by themselves, and they're the one that's presenting everything. And there's that. I was interested because I was thinking, when I saw what was going to be happening, I was thinking that, it would be James, because James is kind of the one that spearheaded the whole jail thing. It was his baby, yada, yada, yada. And I was kind of surprised today when the commissioner that came in to talk to you all was Sherry Riggin. But then I was even more taken aback by the fact that she wasn't the one that was doing most of the speaking. It was actually the attorney. And I think it just goes to show a lot that, James and Shannon are comfortable when it's them coming in to do it. But it's almost like they sent the attorney to kind of babysit her and make sure that she did the right thing. And if I'll tell you, I don't know if Troy Ingram's out there or Andrew's watching, but this is probably, to me, a very good election point. That, if you've got, the commissioners that's coming to talk to the council, and, you've got other commissioners who, for whatever reason, I'm sure they're going to say, I'm making this up and, blah, whatever. But I just think it's very telling that the majority of the time, James or Shannon are there talking on their own. And then when they come in, I would say he did a majority of the talking today. She didn't say much. And, can you talk a little bit about what they were there for and that whole ordeal?
Well, first thing I'll say about what you just described right there is, you teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
How people treat you is a direct result of how you've taught them you can be treated. And if Sherry Riggin is comfortable with having a man come in there and hold her hand, speak for her, and shadow her to make sure she doesn't slip up, like a Joe Biden aide,
Yeah.
then that's on her, and she deserves everything that she gets.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the tiptoeing around sweet little old Sherry. Sherry has a voice. Sherry has a mouth. Sherry's been a commissioner for 12 years. You don't get to do that without having a little bit of a backbone. She
Right.
just chooses to not use it. So if
Yeah.
she's going to sit there and allow the attorney to talk for her, then that's on her. That's her problem.
Yep.
And I don't have any sympathy for it. You know, you want to give that image off. It doesn't project any type of strength to me, to a voter. That you're standing up there on camera, letting this man who's unelected talk for you, talk over you,
So frustrating.
correct you. You know what I mean? He corrected her, and you know, I don't have any tolerance for the, you know, I guess she deserves what she gets, that kind of thing. They were in there to ask for their economic development money. They wanted the whole $5 million and some change for the year. I did, but I normally do. I objected. I shared my concerns, and you know, Sherry told us that, you know, she was doing it all at once to do us a favor, so they didn't have to come back and bother us.
Yeah.
And I promptly thanked her for her courtesy, and I let her know that it's no bother. That's what we signed up to do as elected officials, and that commissioners and counselors kind of keep each other in check, and it's the checks and balances for one another. And we have a duty to the citizens and the taxpayers to show transparency whenever possible. So when I forfeit that transparency by approving their economic edit money all at the beginning of the year, I've given away a layer of accountability and checks and balances, because I informed her I would prefer you come back every other month and ask me for however much you need. Hey, we got a bond payment that's 1.1 million this month. We need it. Okay, come on back. Or we've got this amount of money for this month. Come on back and ask for it. You know, we're gonna give it to you, but it's just about transparency, putting everything above board. Because what happens is it got approved. It's now March, and no one will ever think about it again. And they basically got the whole year to do whatever they want with the money, and no one's going to pay any attention to it. Whereas if they did it the way I would have liked them, and they come each month and ask us for the money, pardon me, we have a discussion about it. Where's this money for? How much are you spending? How far along are you in the process? You know, just basic transparency. It's not that it's because we think they're not doing anything right. It's just about keeping the public informed. And they don't want to do that.
Which is the damn job.
They don't want to do that, just like when they, you know, they payment claims. Hey, we're going to pay the claims of $2 million. Pay what claims? What the hell's in that claim? Who are you paying? How much are you paying? What was that job for? Like, that can easily be done to explain to people. And, you know, when I asked for the list, I voted against this today for, number one, I didn't want to give it to them all at once. But number two, I've been on record for the last several months that if you come to this council and you request something, you got to have your invoices. If you don't have an invoice to show me that this is how much this costs, or this is the estimate, then I'm not giving you the money. You're not getting my vote, at least. And I asked them what they had, and Sherry shuffled some papers, and they didn't have anything. They had nothing to show me what this money was going for. Now, they told me that the majority was going to the jail bond payment, but then it turned out that was only like $1 million, and they asked for $5 million. That's not a majority. That's 20%. Right? So I don't know what the hell that meant, but you know, John Brooks spoke up, and you know, he tried to explain, and he informed us that the auditor, that all of that stuff's on Gateway, or the auditor has it. Don't worry, Ryan, the economic development plan's been approved, and it's all there. All you got to do is go look for it. And what I said to him is, with all due respect, I get it. We can go do all that. Number one, I have an auditor who's not cooperating with us, not giving us the things we're asking for. Okay, that's first and foremost. Number two, you're the one here in this meeting asking for me to give it to you. It's on you to provide me the information that I need. Right? I don't need to go looking for it. If I went to go get a loan And the loan officer said, "Well, Ryan, what can you show me on your credit or whatever?" I'm like, "What am I going to tell him?" "Oh, it's out there. You can find
Yeah,
it.
you go find
Look
it.
around. It's out there. My references. I'm sure if you dial enough numbers, you'll find somebody who knows me and they'll vouch for me." No, that's not how it works. I bring them everything I have. These are my references. These are my loans I've paid off. This is where my credit is. I want to give them everything I can to sell them on approving this for me. And that's not what we get when we get with the commissioners. They feel it's our duty to do the research, and we're just, by God, lucky to be there and, just give them what they're asking for and shut the hell up. That's what they want us to do.
I don't even think they want you to do the research. I just think they want you to give them the money and shut the hell up. I think that's probably what it is.
Well, what was interesting for John Brook to be the one to tell me that all I have to do is ask the auditor to find this information, considering I sent the auditor an email last month inquiring about this remodel that they're doing in the auditor's office, because the council didn't approve it. The council didn't appropriate the money. We didn't sign off on it. So I wanted to know, who the hell told you could do it? Where did you get the money? How much does it cost? And how much have you spent? I didn't get a response from Ed Carroll. Instead, I got a letter from John Brook, an email from him telling me that I didn't request the information the proper way, that I needed to submit a FOIA request.
No.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, you didn't submit the request the right way. You have to do a Freedom of Information Act request or a FOIA request. He said, however, Ed thinks it's important that we have cooperation or something along those lines. So he then went ahead and gave me the information, but he wanted to let me know that I was doing it wrong, that I had to submit this request. And my response is, no, the auditor is the secretary for the council. I don't submit FOIA requests. I submit email requests, and then you provide it. But he wanted to stand on his soapbox and say that, I really don't need to give you this information because you didn't request it the right way. But here's what it is. And then the information he told me was that project is a $40,000 project that they're spending, that money came from an unappropriated account from the tax sale that is in the auditor's office, that the council has no control over. We don't know about it. We don't know how much money's in there. We don't appropriate the money. And he said that his authority was derived from Ed Carroll, the auditor, and the commissioners. They gave themselves the authority without council. That was his response to me. And then he sits up there today and said, all I got to do is ask the auditor for the money. It's all there. Yeah, right. I mean, some of these people, man, are just ridiculous.
How long ago when did you get the email? When did you get all that email back from Brooke?
About 2 weeks ago, a week after I submitted it to Ed. I submitted it to Ed, and I got a response from Brooke. And I CC'd all the council members on it. So they're all aware of it, too. Not one of them spoke up and said a word about it.
Of course. Yeah.
Not one of them was interested in why people are doing remodels without our approval. Not one of them was interested in where the hell they get this money from, who okayed it, who signed off on this, how much are you spending. I mean, that's a room that's been working pretty damn good for 40 years. It doesn't need a remodel right now,
Right.
But they deemed it necessary. And
that conference room in there that there is, because it seems like they're working on the conference room, right? Am I correct?
With a giant big screen TV.
Yeah. Well, it's all that easier to do the Delaware County Republican Party stuff in there.
Yeah, and I was told, in the email it said that this was only for materials only, and that kind of went over my head at first. But then when I was speaking with someone else who had a sit down with Ed earlier in the year about running for office, and Ed had mentioned something about he was in there late doing the floors because someone had tipped me off and said Ed had hired his friend to do the floors. This person told me that they said that Ed was doing the floors himself. So I don't know if he hired himself to do the floors or if he's doing it for free. If he's doing it for free, kudos to him. But nobody knows because he doesn't tell anybody, and he doesn't feel like it's
He needs
his
to.
duty
Yeah.
to tell anybody.
Man, I'm telling you, the Delaware County has a chance. An idiot recently told somebody, I don't know if they know or not, but Ed Carroll's not up for re-election. Right. That's true. He's not up for re-election, but he's still an elected official that should be accountable to the people and to the other elected officials. And it's okay to ask questions. And when someone's being ridiculous, it's okay to call them and say, yo, your slip's showing, this is what's going on, reel it back in.
Someone should let that idiot know that we don't reserve our criticism just for people when they're up for re-election.
Yeah, right.
When someone's got the damn office on fire, we speak out about it. Oh shit, the whole place is a shit show. But damn it, he's not up for election for 3 more years, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
It don't matter. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah,
that just goes to show you the mentality of that good old boy politics and that good old boy system that's around here. And it is good old boy, and it goes from the top all the way down. And they cover their friends, they cover their families, their employees. Everybody's looking out for their core group of people. They're making sure their core group of people is taken care of. And they do their shadiness. I found out today they've already started their shadiness with me. I've already got signs coming up missing, being stolen. Already checked with the building commissioner's office. He didn't take them. You know what I mean? The property owner didn't take them. So that just leaves vandals. And it wasn't just me. It was me and Stephen Brand. Both of our signs are gone.
No way.
So the shenanigans never end. And this is what, my buddy Rob Moore, he lives in Henry County, and he was at the Henry County Lincoln Day dinner a couple weeks ago. And there was somebody who got up and spoke. Someone, I don't know who it was, but he told me the next day that person said that the biggest threat to the Republican Party is the fact that Democrats have realized they can't get elected as Democrats, and they're running as Republicans and getting elected, and they're infiltrating our party, but then they're still governing like they're Democrats, right? And we have a lot of that same stuff here. All the boxes are checked on everything I just said. We have several who've crossed over, and they still do that. They govern like they're Democrats, including that same old good old boy bullshit where they scratch each other's back, and, we do things behind closed doors. And by God, don't you dare ask about it, or we'll bully you or intimidate you. And I'm tired of it. I'm fed up with it. And you know who I'm most fed up with? I'm fed up with the other elected officials who necessarily aren't dirty, but damn it, they know about it and they don't say nothing. They know the same things I know, and they're not saying nothing. They're just sitting on their hands and they're being quiet. That pisses me off more than anything.
Yeah, it's like the idea of the people who talk about cops. When you've got a dirty cop and they're like, well, all these other cops sit there and do nothing. They're just as dirty. Yeah, let's put that same concept on the Republicans and the Democrats. There's a real strong Republican woman elected official here in Delaware County who just all the time talks about how it's that whole idea of Ronald Reagan's the 11th commandment, thou shalt not talk negative about a fellow Republican.
I know what you're talking about. She lives by that.
Yeah, and Democrats do the same thing, and that's so stupid. To me, if I can't call someone out that I agree with, if I can't look at you and be like, hey, I don't agree with what you're doing, I have no right to call out the Democrats. If I can't look at some, if a Democrat can't, and that's just goes back to the same people who and Republicans are real bad about this. They won't go to these open house campaign events if they feel that somebody that's against them put it on. They're like, oh, I can't go in there and talk. It's put on by the Democrats, or it's put on by this person or that person. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if you can't go hold your own against people that you don't agree with, and when you're running for office, how can I expect you to do that when you're an elected official?
Well,
You know?
this is what I was talking about earlier when I said there was a little bit of hope today. Now, there were a couple council members who they didn't necessarily call out, but they did start peeling back the layers of the onion a little bit. They started asking questions. They started asking Ed questions because he was saying this was a different request for another 2,600. This money was to replace the 2,600 that was transferred out earlier in the meeting, right? And I said that. I said, if we do this, we're going to have to deal with this appropriation in a few minutes, right? Well, now fast forward, that's where we're at. We're dealing with that. And the argument was, well, this person's got increased work responsibilities because Denise left and her benefits and pay don't run out until May. When county employees leave, if they have saved up vacation time and stuff like that, that stuff keeps running like they're still working there. So they may have not been in the building for 2 months, but we can't hire a replacement until their pay runs out, right?
Yeah.
So this woman is doing the work that Denise had done. So Ed's asking for the $2,600 to compensate her. And it said we can't hire someone until May. Well, that's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
So to Eugene's credit, he says, okay, that's a few weeks away. This is $2,600. This is a lot more than just for a couple weeks. So does that mean whenever you hire that person that amount's going to be deducted from their salary to offset it to balance it out? And Ed kind of confused him, said a bunch of gibberish to kind of throw him off a little bit. I think intentionally.
Sure.
And it worked. Everybody was confused. Matt was confused. I wasn't confused because I knew exactly what they were trying to do.
Right.
But finally, Ed come up and was like, well, I can't promise that. I'm not going to do that. And that's because they never do that. Let me give you rule number 1 in budgeting. No one ever reduces their line item once they get it, right?
Yeah.
Once they get that dollar amount elevated, there's not a chance in hell they're going to voluntarily reduce that because that's more money in their budget. They can then transfer that around later. So the idea that he's going to somehow reduce it, I knew it was a long shot. But to Eugene's credit, he was trying to give him an opportunity to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. And Ed wouldn't commit to it. And then, Matt spoke up again and he wasn't quite sure. And finally, I just had to speak up. I'm like, look, just cut out the smoke, cut out the mirrors, cut out the crap. This is nothing but a salary increase. Doesn't matter what fund it's coming from. Doesn't matter who it's going to. Doesn't matter who's reorganized where. It's like that trick with the cup and the ball.
Yeah, yes.
Right? Doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's salary increase. Simple as that. Can't make it any more simple for you.
Yeah.
And when we go to vote, Dan Flanagan, he's giving this performance like he's just so torn, but we all know which way Dan's going to vote. He's telling me as we're sitting there, he agrees with what I'm saying, but he's not going to go against Jessica and he's not going to go against Ed. But I was surprised to see that Matt Kance and Eugene Whitehead did go against it. And we almost won that vote. It was 4-3. If we would have flipped Dan, we had had it. That's only $2,600. It's not a lot of money.
Yeah,
but
right.
Boy, you talk about sending a signal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, every time we made a good point, Jessica was there to breathe life back into the request and justify why it needed to happen. I'm just fed up with no one ever saying no. I mean, we might as well just put a giant yes stamp on all the paperwork that comes in. I mean, there's no point in us even having a council. We don't say no. Everything is yes. Everything. Somebody get someone on your team to go back and look. For the last 2 years, every single freaking request is yes.
Yeah.
We've, as a council, not told anyone no. Nothing.
I can't tell you or think of a time, you might have said no. There might be other counselors that have voted no, but I can't think of a time that you guys have voted no on anything.
Think of it as a parent if you never once told your kids no in 2 years. Every dollar amount. Dad, $20. Can I have $20 for the movies? Dad, can I have $10 to go over here? Dad, can I do this? Dad, can I do that? Yep.
Yeah.
Sure, son. Here you go. Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta say no sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to balance things out, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Never,
Right.
ever happens. Ever.
Well, and like you said, it's only $2,600. But the thing is, $2,600. Like you said, it was $2,600, and then a few minutes later, it was $2,600. And $2,600 here, and $2,600 there, and $2,600 here. It starts to add up after a while. And like you said, the other big thing is it's only March. I think people kind of forget that it's only March. Now it's the end of March, and a lot of people think, all right, we're into April, but this is only your third meeting. You won't meet again for another 4 weeks.
People have to understand the dynamics of Delaware County government. Delaware County government is like a giant high school, right? Everyone there knows what everyone else makes. And they're constantly pissing and moaning because someone else makes this amount and I don't make that amount. So it's not the $2,600. It's the precedent that it sets.
Yeah.
Now, everybody's going to be coming wanting to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they want to be paid that. And they want to be paid the same amount as this person who works in a different department who also types on a keyboard does. Right? Well, they type on a keyboard and I type on a keyboard, so I should make the same thing that they make. Right? It's the precedent when you open that door. It's only $2,600, but I promise you mark my words, somebody just started that snowball down the hill. And who knows how big it'll get before September gets here.
That is absolutely insane. Are the finance? Have I asked you before? Do you know? Are the finance meetings that happen the week before, are those open to the public or no?
I've only participated in a couple finance meetings, 2 or 3, and to be honest with you, I thought we had the door open, but I don't remember anyone being in there. Okay. Right? Normally on a closed door meeting, we close the door.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't recall the door being closed. So I can't give you that answer with any degree of confidence.
I'll call, who's on the finance committee meeting?
The finance committee is, council members Hughes, Piper, and Kantz.
Kantz, Piper, and Hughes. I'll reach out to Kantz and find out what he says about that. I think that's interesting. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like, and I don't even know if people know about this really. They talk about it, but your finance committee meeting, or your finance committee, those 3 counselors, along with the attorney, Ben Freeman, and sometimes maybe the commissioner's attorney or the others, get together. The auditor get together the Thursday before the meeting, right?
Along with every single department head who has an item on the agenda.
So it's basically
it's a dress rehearsal
before the meeting. Yeah, it's like the dress rehearsal. That's a good way to say it. So basically, they hash this out, and it's only with 3 council members, so it's not a quorum. But these 3 council members know how they're going to go. And then Jessica goes and calls everybody but you and tells everybody, hey, this is the way that it's going to go or whatever. And then you guys, then how long after that do you get the agenda?
Well, and I don't even know if she makes a call or not, but I do know that everyone, if you watch a council meeting at the beginning of the meeting, Jessica will say, by the way, everything had a favorable recommendation from the finance committee. That's the bat signal right there. That's saying, hey, we're in support of all of this stuff, right? So anything that wouldn't, that may have been not quite sure about would have been taken off. So it might have been on the agenda at first, but then it didn't survive the finance meeting. I'll tell you, when Scott Alexander was president, there were oftentimes that there were things on the agenda that didn't make it through the finance meeting and was taken off. Like they asked the questions and were like, no, that's never going to fly. And the department had pulled it before it ever made it to the real meeting. That's not happened since Scott left, but used to happen all the time. But So, tell me again. What you asked when I get the agenda?
Yeah, when do you
Well,
get
we
the
used to
agenda?
get it. Used to when Denise was here, we got it like 3 weeks before the meeting. I mean, it was early, and then there would throughout the month you could maybe get an update if someone added to it or whatever. But now we've got some new girls that are in the office, and I got my agenda Saturday night. Now I'm assuming she mailed it out Friday. I noticed it Saturday night. I opened it up,
Okay.
so I'm assuming she mailed it out Friday. So I think, in all fairness to her, I would say probably Friday.
Okay.
And then
So-
the meeting was Tuesday. I immediately screenshotted everything and I posted it
Yeah.
for public, which is what I always. That's one of the things I've openly and pleaded for the council to do more of on our county Facebook page. I think we underutilize our Facebook page. We could reach people much more easily through the county Facebook page versus mine, and they are just fundamentally opposed to doing it.
That's so gross. They could post it. Go ahead.
The answer given to me was, well, Ryan, I brought this up in my sit down with Scott and Jessica, the very first meeting I had with them after I was elected, before our very first actual council meeting. We met at MCL, and I brought it up then. And Scott told me, well, Ryan, the reason we don't do that is because the council agenda is changing, it's fluid, and it can change all the way up to the start of the meeting. And we don't want a citizen to think to see something's going to be on the agenda and then it get changed and then them to think that we pulled it for nefarious reasons. I responded, which is what I do now. There's a very simple solution to that. And this is what I do on my post now. I make a post, and at the very bottom, at the last paragraph, I say, this council agenda is preliminary, and it changes all the way up to the start of the meeting.
Ding, ding,
Very
ding,
easy.
ding.
Anything could be added or retracted up until the start of the meeting. It's a quick disclaimer. Lets everyone know, okay, things might change. No biggie. It's a simple solution.
You either
want to do it or you don't want to do it. It's that simple.
Right. And the other thing is, they could not let those changes occur. The city council, Muncie, and I know, a lot of other bigger cities. Anderson does the same. They have a filing deadline, and when that filing deadline hits, there's no more. You don't do anything after that. Now there are every now and then something happens, but it's got to be they got to vote to suspend the rules and yada 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 and add something on. But there's again something to be said for the process that folks need to go through. And I understand you guys being a little bit different than the city council, you guys being more of you're like a mix between like the council and like the board of works, kind of, with all of the money and the transfers in and out. I understand there's a little bit of issue with that. So maybe that's not the right answer. I'm just saying there's more of a way that you guys could be transparent about it. I love that you put that up for people to see. The county should put that. The county could honestly, and it wouldn't take very long at all. The county could put that on their website. They could put it on a Facebook page, and they could put that on the YouTube page, even in the community section on YouTube.
Our problem with county government isn't that we don't have the ability to do it. Our problem is the people who are in charge of the accounts and who make the decisions have no desire whatsoever to go the extra mile to give the citizens more information than they deem that they deem necessary for them to know.
Yeah.
Right. We have all the tools. And we do have a deadline. It's the finance meeting. Nothing's going to get added up after the finance meeting, but it's such a simple solution. If they put me in charge of the Facebook page, I would have all of that stuff on there. I would have how votes went. I would have break down specific things. I would add You could do a simple separate post about that Kaleidoscope Kids tax abatement. There's going to be public comment, right? That was one of the things that the solar people were pissed about. They didn't get notified properly. And I spoke up and said, we have options. We can put this stuff on our county Facebook page and notify more people. And they are just fundamentally opposed to excelling and doing what is necessary to go the extra mile for the people. It's that simple.
Yeah.
You either want to do it or you don't. And I know people don't want to hear that. They want to vote. I said this earlier. You've got people watching your show right now, and I can't even see who the comments are, and I can't see who's commenting. But I know for a fact you've got people watching who could care less if these officials maybe not on the up and up. Maybe they're doing the good old boy system, that they're looking out for their buddy, looking out for their friend, that they're not interested in giving you, the citizen, more transparency. As long as that person's polished and gives them a good smile and does the role of an elected official, that image, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
They could care less if they're robbing us blind. Simple as that. And I'll even go specific. If I'm actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go specific, but you know where I'm going with it. So you either want honesty and truth, or you want someone to bullshit you and tell you what you want to hear.
Well, and I'll tell you. I mean, there's and so for people to be aware, it's not just the commissioners that are up for re-election. The council's up for re-election. There's 3 of you that are currently up. You, Ed, and Jessica. Not Ed. You, Whitehead, Eugene, and Jessica. The 3 at-large counselors are up, and we're hoping that people make the right decision on that. I do want to tell you, you're currently in the space where you're putting up signs. If anybody's interested, I have a couple locations of signs to tell you. My aunt and my grandparents' house, I'll get with you on those. But if people's interested in a sign, or they've got good sign locations, what do you want them to do? Just hit you up on your social media page, or call you? What do you want?
You can message me on Messenger. You can text me. My number is 765-808-2385. All you got to say is, hey, this is Ryan Webb. My address is 12345 Lane. Feel free to put a sign up. Simple as that. Give me your name, give me your address, and you'll see me bring it out. You won't see a campaign team member. You won't see a volunteer. You'll see me. I have more signs than any elected official. Well, Brand may beat me this year, but I've traditionally had the most signs, and I put every single one of them out myself. I drive to every location. I speak to every person. I'm a one-man team. I do it all by myself. And, that's just generally the way I do my whole campaign. I try to outwork everyone. I don't rely on volunteers. Now, that's not to say that, look, I'm not going to knock people who've got volunteers. If you've got a team of people who are dedicated to helping you, more power to you. I just don't have that many people in my life that I can count on consistently that'll show up for me at my events. So you know what? I said, you want to get something done, you do it yourself.
Yeah, do it yourself.
That's just the way I do it. So if you want me to bring a sign out, I'd be happy to do so.
Okay, so signs, and do you anything else going on? Is there anything else people need to be aware of?
We do have a golf event. I don't know if you guys like to golf, but we're gonna have a golf event at Maplewood on April 13th. And
golf event on April 13th.
Yeah, we're doing that. And, right now, you can enter a team if you like. It's $200 for a team of 4. You can get in touch with me about that if you're a golfer. It's it's nothing serious. It's fun. It's a what we call best ball, which means the 4 people on your team, you all hit the ball, and whoever hits the best ball, you all play from that spot, and you do that throughout the day. And it's a fun way to do it. We all drink some beer, and we'll be giving some beer out and having a good time. And we'll be doing that. And then you can also sponsor a hole. If you want to sponsor a hole, if you want to, maybe you're not a golfer, but you want to show your love, show your support with a hole sponsor, they're $25. You can do that as well. So,
and I always tell everybody, it's value for value. And I know times are tough, every dollar counts, help out how you can. If if it's a sign in the yard, or if you're interested in, buying one of his America's Councilman hats, or, if you want to give him $5 or whatever, everything helps. It all goes to the cause, just being supportive and telling people, passing along information. Obviously there's a long way to go. There's still, I think it's day, let's see, when was the RDC meeting? It was the 14th. So 1, 2, 3.
While you're looking at that, I'm glad
This
you
is
brought
the
up-
12th day. 12th day that book out is 12th day with no book out. So
Yeah, I
if
looked for
anyone's
him
out
today.
there, he's still missing in action.
I was actually going to file an Amber Alert today for him because I was looking in the meeting and I didn't see him. I was a little bit concerned, but you gave the shout out for the America's Councilman hats. We've got 4 different colors, and we're on our 3rd shipment of those. We've shipped those. We've shipped it to Israel. We shipped it to Australia. We shipped it to Florida. We've got
Jesus.
several of those, and those are $20. So if you guys want to get a Councilman hat, love to give you one, and make sure you wear it though, right? But the most important thing you do is to vote, right? Make sure you vote. Make sure that you pull a Republican ballot when you do vote. And I'm not talking about you fake Democrats who are crossing over to vote me out. I'm talking about our real Republicans who are going to pull a Republican ballot and vote for Republican values, right? Do that, and then don't forget to register. I think the deadline is like the 8th or something.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that you can register all the way up until the primary, but it really like 30 days or something like that. Chris probably knows the exact number before the primary. They cut that off. And if you don't get registered before that, you have to wait until the general. And let me tell you guys, the general is nothing. General's a walkthrough. This is the election. The primary is it. I was telling people it's like the 2 best NFL teams playing in the AFC Championship. And then the winner goes on the Super Bowl to play the worst team in the league, right? And I'm not saying that about the Democrats. I'm just saying all the competition is in the primary. That's where
This race, I've been saying that this race will be won and lost for most of the people that I'm pushing on May 7th. When we wake up on May 8th, we will be happy or we will be very sad. And I don't want to be sad this election. I want this to be a good thing. Voters registration is running down at the bottom. You can register to vote from now until 11:59 on Monday, April 8th. You need to simply go to www.indianavoters. That's Indiana Voters with an S. Indiana, INDIANAVOTERS.com. You can register to vote. It takes 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. You need to have your state ID card, your driver's license, whatever your deal is. You need to register if you've never voted before. If you are someone who knows someone who's going to be 18 on or before the November election day. So that's what matters. If you're 17 in May, but your birthday's in July or your birthday's in October, as long as you're going to be 18 on the general election day, you can vote. So if you've never voted before, you need to register. If you are married and your name changed, if you're divorced and your name changed, if you've moved, if you haven't voted in 10 years, you need to check your registration. And I say, just like I always tell people with the subscribing and stuff on here, it doesn't hurt everybody to jump on. I jump on several times a year because I'm showing people how to do it, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you anything. If you are a misdemeanor, you can register, you can vote. If you are a felon, you can register and you can vote. In Indiana, there's some places that you cannot vote if you're a felon. I don't know what the deal is with that. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. In the state of Indiana, you can absolutely vote with a felony. So understand that you can vote if you are a felon. If you had done something stupid, OWI, drug, whatever, you can vote. That doesn't stop it. And you have until 11:59 on Monday, April 8th. When that deadline clicks through and you can no longer register, on Tuesday, the 9th, early voting starts. I have been a big proponent of early voting for a long time. In the last couple of elections, I've pulled that back and I've said, if you want to make sure that you're voting and chances are your vote is taken and not tampered with, vote on election day. But if for some reason you can't do that, vote early, vote mail-in, vote however you can vote. But vote on election day if you want to make sure it's done the right and proper way. But vote however you got to vote, I guess. That's the bottom line. And something that he did not say. There is no straight ticket vote in the primary because you have to go in and pull a Republican ballot. You have to go in and pull a Republican ballot. So it doesn't let you vote straight party. So you have to go down and select because this is when you're voting for Republican against Republican. So you'll go to commissioner and you will see Republican, quote unquote, James King versus Republican Stephen Brand. And you'll have to pick one of those Republicans. And then when you get down to the council, you will vote for 1, 2, or 3. You can vote for up to 3 council people. If you're someone who really wants to make a change in Delaware County, vote for Ryan Webb, vote for Amber Green. If you're somebody that really, really, really wants to just support Ryan, just go in and vote Ryan only and vote nobody else. If you really want to support just Amber, go in and vote for Amber and nobody else. That's called bullet voting. A lot of people say, oh, that's illegal. No, you can do it. Don't let people be stupid. You can absolutely do it. But if you have questions, you can contact me, contact us. We'll help you out. Contact Ryan, and we'll do what we can to help you guys out. So,
and one real quick thing he touched base on a minute ago about, I try not to say my competitors' names too much because I kind of believe, I subscribe to the theory that there's no bad publicity, and publicity is good publicity. That's why when all the trolls and haters that hate me, they make fake pages about me and they say fake things about me and they lie on me and they constantly mention my name, I could care less because, I mean, to me, that's like buying an ad on Facebook, right? Putting my name out there, and it worked in 2020. It got me elected in 2020 because I subscribe to the theory that a lot of voters, unfortunately, 50% of them, they don't pay attention to nothing. All they're going to know is when they get in that voting booth and they see my name is, that name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That looks familiar for some reason. I don't know why. I don't remember the story. And then they vote for it. So I try not to say too many people's names, but, he mentioned about the missing candidate, the double B, and Mr. Bookout. And I said this when the period closed for people to file the filing period.
Yeah.
I said he's not a real candidate, guys. He's a fake candidate. He's not real. He's just on the ballot. He's not out campaigning. He has no intentions of being your council member. And it's been proven. We've been in multiple events. Yeah. He's nowhere to be found. Yeah. Not only is he nowhere to be found, nobody's there wearing his shirt. The shirts don't exist. No one is there with a sign. The signs don't exist. There's no logo. There's no Facebook page. There's no nothing. It's just a name on a ballot. And he's not the only one. Lord Jesse's the same thing. She's You might have to file an Amber Alert for her too.
I'll be honest. She's. I mean, the only reason I know and say Bookout's because he's kind of been around, and he's not even really been around in his actual capacity here lately. He's just been MIA in that. But that's the only reason I know him. Lori Jesse, the other one, dude, she's so nobody. She's not been anywhere, and so that's really weird.
I learned this in 2020. If you want to win, you have to get out and earn the people's vote. Who the hell are you to think you can just put your name on a ballot and not put any work in and just expect people to give you their hard-earned vote?
Yeah.
That's not the way it works, right? I'm going to go out and work every one of these people. You're going to see me out there putting the signs in the road and knocking on the doors. So these people aren't real. It's a fake.
Yeah.
It's fugazi. And not only that, even your council president hasn't even campaigned. I'm not going to say her name, but she's not at one event. She showed up at other people's events, and she might put her sign in a parade, but she's not had no events. She's another one is just expecting people to just check her name because she is who she is without earning your vote. I firmly believe that I have to go earn your vote every year. Matter of fact, I've got 200 names of people who's allowed me to put signs in their yard in 2020. Do you think I'm just showing up at their house putting a sign in their yard? No. I'm waiting, trying to get in touch with them to make sure they're still okay with me placing the sign in their yard. Again, you can't just expect people to continue supporting you. And these people who aren't going to earn their vote, they're just waiting for people to just vote for them because they're going to get a rude awakening because we're going to be the top vote getter. We're going to smoke their asses and we're going to win because we're going to put the work in and we're going to earn your vote. That's what's going to happen.
Well, there is a real life thing in politics called the paper ballot, or called the paper candidate, and that's exactly what Bookout and Jesse are. They are paper candidate. Their names on paper only. That's what they're doing. They're hoping that can bump a couple points one way or another, or bump someone up or down the ballot, and that's all that nonsense is. Do not let that.
Plus Brad will be first, so he'll get 5% extra for being first on the
right there for being first. That's the thing. That's what they like to try to do. So Jesse, so she'll be in the middle.
And if you guys don't understand that, historically, a lot of people don't know who the candidates are. So it's been proven that whoever's the first name on the ballot, they typically get 5% more votes because people just check. They just pick the first couple names.
Yeah.
So that's why you see people with a name that starts with A or B. When people are doing political shenanigans and they want to get it to throw a wrench in the election, they get someone who could be at the top of the ballot, which is what we're seeing with Mr. Bookout.
Absolutely, no question.
All that is.
Yeah, that's 1,000% true. And you were talking about oh damn! What? I just completely lost. I completely lost it. Damn it!
It's gone.
I hate when that. I hate when that happens. The
I was talking about.
What?
I said I was talking about though.
Yeah, right, yeah. Just a Bookout and how they're doing that. He's trying to thinks that an election an experience in Delaware County politics 20 years ago, 15 years ago is going to hold him through. Things are completely different. This is a whole new world, and the people have to get out and do the right thing. It is that's what I was going to hit on.
They're banking on you not voting. They're banking on a low turnout.
They're on low turnout.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are going to say, okay, it is, we'll throw it to him. He's been on here before, but it's totally different. You have got to get out and vote in this election because it will be done and over. There's how many people in your race?
7
people. The top 3 vote getters go on. Oh, that's what it was. I found it. I have heard, I don't know if I've told you this privately or not, that the Ed Carroll has said to multiple people that they are just straight off the bat planning. This is how Ed is thinking, that you and Jessica win because you're the incumbents. Now, he does not put and has not put Whitehead in that same category because although he is technically by the way of the ballot, an incumbent. He was not elected by the people. He was caucused in. So your detractors on that side are telling people, or at least were at one point openly telling people, we're assuming that Jessica and Webb are going to win. But the fact that Jessica hasn't been out campaigning, and more people are talking about how they are turning away from her, and they are so put off with her and so put out by her, and that they've woken up, because before it's been Scott running out, and she's been linked at the hip with Scott, and Scott's been the driving force. Well, Scott's off doing his own thing. Daddy's gone, and she's by herself, and she's floundering. So
Well, not only that, she's used to have a big team with her, and she shows up solo at events now.
Yeah, right.
You may have like Talby there wearing one
her
of
and her mom or whatever. Yeah.
Have like Preston Cross. She doesn't have
Yeah.
She doesn't have people who've helped her in the past. She's kind of like me, just like doing a one-man show kind of thing.
Well, and yeah, you'll definitely outwork her as far as that goes.
Well, I'm gonna outwork her. I'm gonna smoke her in every one of them. And I say that because I know we're gonna put the work in, and I know there's more like-minded people like me out there than there are fake people who just want to smile and a nod.
Yeah.
So I know that because I talk to these people. I see them every day. I hear the people at the grocery stores who say, "Look, we love what you're doing. Thank you for representing us." I get that nonstop. Never does someone say, "Hey, you're a piece of shit." I never hear that. They may say it to someone else when I walk away, but most of the time, it's all nothing but positive feedback. And what you had mentioned earlier about what Ed had said about his prediction on who's going to win. I can't speak to that. I appreciate it if he has that confidence in us. Now, I have heard there's some of the high-ranking people in their party who actually predict that I would be the top vote getter over Jessica. And that's my prediction. I think I'm going to beat her and everybody else. I don't think she believes that, but
I hope she's been high up on the totem pole with everything the last couple of years, just because of Scott. Scott's always been the top vote getter, and then she's been number 2, and then you'd think with Scott being gone, she would be up there. But yeah, she's not doing anything, and so she's for the very first time in a very perilous position, and so this election is going to be interesting to see. But the people have to get out and vote.
I think that when I hear people make comments of like who they think is going to win, and I don't really think they view it that way. I think they think that I was an anomaly, that I snuck in 2020, and I honestly think they think I'm going to get 7th place. I really don't buy that Ed thinks I'm getting reelected. They think that nobody has any support for me, that nobody believes the way that I believe. In fact, when we were at the women's breakfast last Saturday, I was talking with Attorney General Todd Rokita and Congresswoman Victoria Sparks. They're big fans. They're big supporters. We talk they're blown away because people outside of Delaware County, other Republicans, they love what we're doing here. It's only this core group of people here that can't see that other people align with the values that we're talking about, with the goals that we're talking about with transparency and stuff. So they think because it's not important to them that it's not important to nobody. But really, if they get outside of their echo chamber, they'll realize most of the people in this community, that's all they want: someone to be open and honest with them, and some transparency. We arrested our mayor, for God's sakes, not long ago. We have a much higher bar to clear, and I think they forget that.
Yeah,
we got a long way to go.
Well, and they think that that was the Democrats. That's got nothing to do with us. And it's like people don't give a shit. People just see that as an elected official. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, very true.
Well, you could say that was the Democrats, but I'm not. I'm not gonna say it.
Yes.
You know where I'm going with it.
Right? I understand. I hear you.
Right, but anyway, it's just common sense. Common sense people want common sense values. They don't want a lifelong politician who's desperate to stay relevant and desperate to stay an elected official. And so many of them are. They will never walk off into the sunset. you got 3 commissioners with 12 years under them, all of them, I think. Maybe Shannon's
Yeah.
got 8. But they're never just going to retire. The only way they're leaving
Right.
is if someone beats them. That's
Yeah.
simple. And
Yeah.
no one should be in office for 12 years. Nobody.
Right. Yeah. Well, time will tell. I appreciate it. Thank you for popping on, and we'll have you on again.
I appreciate you guys bringing me on. I would encourage everyone. Thank you for watching tonight. If you get an opportunity, I know I've kind of broke it down a little bit about what was discussed tonight. You guys have got to watch this meeting today.
Yeah.
You got to watch the clips. I mean, it gets started 12 minutes in, and it's intense all the way through, except for when Jamie Bain was talking. That was a little bit. Jamie had us nodded to sleep there a little bit, lullaby to sleep. But outside of Jamie talking, it was pretty intense the whole rest of the meeting. So I'm just kidding. I love Jamie. Right? I'm a big fan of his. But anyway, watch the meeting, man. Watch the meeting. There's a lot.
Yeah.
You will see council members who struggle with going with what they know is right versus what they think they're supposed to do. You see it in real time. You see it happen.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, it's
you know,
real thing. We have it up on our channel. You can watch it on our channel. You can watch it on Delaware County Government's channel, wherever you want to watch it. Give us the love. Don't make sense to go give them the love. Watch it, like it. You can see it, and Ryan is right. You can see it in real time. So, all right, sir. Thank you very much. You have a good rest of the evening, and we will we'll have you back on.
All right. You guys enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Ryan Webb, Delaware County Councilor at Large and America's Councilman, the new moniker. I was looking for his hats. I can't find. I was looking before we leave out of here. I was trying to find where he had them posted because it's like a little goofy thing, but it's funny, and it's something that people are picking up on, and it's another way to help him. And maybe not everybody likes specifically like campaign attire or whatever, but there are these. He's got these hats, and oh yeah, right here they are. Right here it is. Here is the example of America's Councilman, Ryan Webb, America's Councilman hats that come in white and black and gray. So if you're interested in checking those out, get a hold of him. If you're interested in merchandise for the political spotlight, you can find that in the description. And I'm going to sit down this weekend and work on something for a Go Pet the Alligator logo on a cup, on a shirt, something like that. That clip is out. If you want to go watch it in the shorts, I've got it divided up into a trilogy. The Go Pet the Alligator trilogy. It's 3 little clips. They're all under a minute, so go give that a watch. Those are in the shorts. Hey, I completely skipped. We talked about Madison County. We did, and we talked about Ryan Webb. We did not talk about the Sproles news. I had some Sproles news. Oh, and he's got camo also, so that would be cool. Check that out. I finally today got the audio to the when Sproles was contacted to go to the Justice Center on Friday the 22nd. I haven't listened to all of it, but I've got the first part of the audio, so I guess I'm glad we didn't go through it. I think tomorrow we're going to have Catherine on to talk about Madison County, so we'll probably do Sproles then to end the week on Thursday. What a way to end the week. We'll end the week with Sproles on Thursday. Tomorrow night, we're going to do Catherine. She'll be on to talk about what's going on in Madison County. We'll talk more about the craziness there with that bullshit meeting and Russ Willis and what a jerk he is. You guys share the show with everyone you know. Please hit the like before you leave. Comment in the chat box. Comment down below. And we will see you right back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. And have a great night. Goodbye. Oh, yeah. Hey, Kate, can you hit the lighthouse thing? I got to go use the little boy's room.
I gotcha.